The Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.
Thank you for tuning in to watch Kenya's #1 debate platform, where high school students are given the opportunity to air out their ideologies. What better way to do it than on the Great Debaters Contest? I am your host, Chris Boru.
And I am Esperanza Kapanga. And in an era where the internet is almost as vital as the air we breathe, the motion today is Internet Censorship will address national insecurity and immorality.
Proposing this motion, we have Dandora Girls High School.
And opposing the motion is Olympic High School.
Which school will have the day? Let's wait and see. Proposer number 1, you have 3 minutes.
Today, change is inevitable. We're living in a society where change is so speeded up that what wasn't is, and what is soon won't be. And with that, change has brought the inevitable topic of internet censorship, friend or foe. I'm Ansra Banis from the Dandora Girls School, ready to propose that motion and to support it fully. First and foremost, what is internet censorship? Internet censorship is the suppression and control of what can be accessed, published, or viewed on the internet, enacted by regulators or on their own initiative. What is national insecurity, you may ask? National insecurity is military or defense advantage over any foreign nation or group of nations. And what is immorality? Immorality is a state where one does not possess virtues. It is a state of being immoral. In Kenya, we're living in a society where we have twerking 6-year-olds. Where are we headed? Where are we headed as a country? We have internet censorship in China. China recently banned 120 immoral songs that were deemed harmful to the society, since they promoted obscenity, violence, and insubordination. Well, I support President Xi Jinping of the China Republic. Well, we are having our songbirds, Sauti Sol. They came from Soma 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 Kijana to Nishike. Where are we headed as a country? Now, let me tell you a basic fact. In China, you will find no kissing scenes in any movie. Compare that to the United States. Compare that to the United States, where movies are ranked with the immoral videos that are put there. 100 million posts of social networks are censored per day in China. That is a quarter of what is posted on Twitter. I am here to fully support internet censorship. Join me, Ansra Banis, in the fight to promote internet censorship. Thank you.
First proposer, you have 3 minutes.
Today's motion in hand is very simple. Internet censorship will address immorality and the national insecurity and immorality. When I talk about internet censorship, what do I mean? This is the act of controlling what can be accessed, viewed by the people. When I talk about national insecurity, I mean this is a situation that people have, that a country has chaos and people lack peace. When I talk about immorality, what do I mean? These are the sinful acts or the bad behaviors. So we as Olympic High School, we are opposing the motion that internet censorship will not address national insecurity and immorality. We all know that a new idea calls for a corruption deal in Kenya. Talking about censoring the internet. By censoring the internet, first of all, it will be cost effective. If Kenya, just the other day, launched a satellite of 5 billion in Japan, which is paid for 5 billion per month. Think of a year, that is 60 billion. By censoring the internet, it will also concentrate powers to the government, hence leading to dictatorship. So we are opposing the motion that internet censorship will not address the motion. What can address the issue of national insecurity and immorality is our education system and values. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that there was a time in Kenya you could not even ask for a bribe in public. But nowadays, what do we normally see? Remember, you can change or rather censor the internet, but you cannot change the minds of the people. We should not censor the internship, or rather, we should concentrate on our education system. Initially, we had the social and ethics being taught in our schools. But when they were eradicated, this is when the immorality came. Kenyans should be responsible so that we can address immorality. Like Rwanda, we even asking somebody which tribe he or she comes from, that's a crime. But in Kenya, we are divided because we don't have the values and unity. We should encourage brotherness. If you censor the internet and don't encourage the brotherness, it will be zero work. And remember, when you want to change the world, you can change the doer, but you'll always change the people. And as the bell rings, be convinced that a single tree can start a forest. A single smile can start friendship. A gentle touch can show how much you care, but ideas of our proposals can ruin our country. With this, I do rest my case.
Second proposer, you have 3 minutes for a rebuttal.
To my colleague who has just moved from the stage, then the way he's saying that the government cannot incur the cost, then he should have given us the solution in which we can be able to face this situation of immorality and insecurity in our country. Recently in our country, we have seen that there have been on the rise the insecurity where the internet has been able to bring about cyber crimes. From Dandora Girls, my name is Jacqueline Modoni, ready to propose this motion. A total of 80 cyber crimes have been identified within our country, in that the government of national security has been able to see that the cyber has brought crimes such as there have been human trafficking in our country recently, in that many people are being taken through the internet going to Saudi for jobs, in which many people it's as if they are depending on, because the internet is able to bring the jobs and the other things, they believe that it is safer to get a job through the internet. Whereas when they go to Saudi Arabia, they find that it's more of a slaughterhouse than going for job opportunities. Now, within this internet that we have been given, we are able to see that it has bring the internet situations in which more insecurity is brought. And this limits the recruitments when we are able to employ this system of censorship. We'll be able to limit the insecurity cases. For example, there have been many things of recruitment of the terrorist attacks in which young people are being taken from Kenya, maybe to Somalia, through the internet because they are able to access, for example, the computers, the mobile phones. Thus, they are able to get into those activities which are very illegal. And on 1st May this year, the Kotu leader, that is Atwoli, was lamenting about the people who are taken through the internet because it was talking about the Labor Day. And there were some victims who are taken to speak about how they suffered through the internet while they were looking for jobs. Let me ask you, the crowd. For example, some of us have fallen victims of cyber crimes or even our relatives, and we are unable. With this mentality, internet it's not that safe. This has been a national crisis which will bring blindness. Yes, we'll be having sight with no vision. Thank you.
Second opposer, you have 3 minutes for rebuttal.
When a teacher makes a mistake, that's a new law. When a policeman makes a mistake, that's a new rule. When a barber makes a mistake, that's a new hairstyle. When a tailor makes a mistake, that's a new fashion. And when the government censors internet, then that is dictatorship in which we want to bring into our country. Bramwell Aboka Olympic High School. The second proposer talked about ask us to give the solution to the internet censorship. In that, if you are sleeping, we talked about education system. I'm telling you that our education system, if we change our education system, if we change our moral values, then there's no need for us to censor education, because having good moral, having good education system, someone will just know this is right, this is wrong. Taking a bribe is wrong. Practicing corruption is wrong. Why should we censor internet? Censoring internet, it means that we are going to limit educational resources. Take, for instance, those people who study in university, art and design. It is through this internet that you get new fashion, new design. Then telling me about censoring internet, then we will be practicing slavery in our own country. The proposers talked about China. My audience, you should not allow to be cheated by the proposers, because China practices internet censoring and only 4% of Chinese population can access internet. What is that? 4% of all population to access internet? What about 96%? Do they mean that they are not human beings? They are, of course. We should not accept our internet to be censored, and it should not be, because this is Kenya, we are Kenyans, we live in Kenya, and therefore we need to behave like Kenyans. Let's not borrow the behaviors of other countries by censoring internet. I mean, we will be bringing slavery into our own country. And you have to accept that Africans are very funny people. They'll go to forest, cut a tree, process a paper, and write on the same paper that cutting a tree is bad. Thank you.
For the question session, the proposers have been asked to define the boundaries of morality, considering that morality is variable from person to person. The opposers have been asked, how is internet censorship a form of dictatorship? Proposer number 3, you have 3 minutes to answer the question.
From Dandora Girls Secondary School, I'm Lydia Wanjiku, and I would like to answer the question from the crowd that asked us to define what morality is. Okay, morality, it is the state where we lack virtues. Morality is also set on levels. I mean, there are basic virtues that define us, such as honesty, chastity, and so on. To begin with, internet censorship will monitor the source of the content. For instance, some of the sites, when we log in, we must give our biodata so that we can get access to what we want to.
Also at home, okay, internet has been there in Kenya, but in low level. For instance, when you want to catch a movie, parental guidance is advised when the movie is suspected to be inappropriate for you. Also, under the use of remotes, a parent can also inactivate the remote where the parent suspects that the decoder has got inappropriate channels for the child, thus preventing immorality. Secondly, internet censorship is a source of job opportunities. Why do I say so? People have been employed, basically spying on what people say on the internet. There are some people who, just because we have access to the internet, we decide to misuse the freedom of speech. Internet censorship has assisted in breaking the balance in competition between companies. Okay, in fact, censorship considerably contributed to the current industrial development in the Chinese internet, as well as the failures of the international giants. As we all know, Google quit in China, but Baidu took place. YouTube does not survive either. And so Youku and Chengdu succeeded. So, let's support that. It's never too late to be what might have been.
Third opposer, you have 3 minutes.
Vincent Bagada from Olympic High School. First, to answer the question posed to us from the audience, how is the internet censorship as a form of dictatorship? Let me tell you for a fact, my audience, when the government censors the internet, they will have total control over the internet. This means, as it was defined, they will be able to judge what is to be broadcast on the internet, what is to be viewed, or what is to be published. This means that if the government receives criticisms from any media, they'll be able to hide it from the citizens. If the government wants to set its law, it will be able to do so because it will have total power. As we heard from the second opposer, 4% of the China population have access to the internet. Who do you think these 4% are? These are the people from the government. This means that the other population is on the black. On to our proposers. You have just given us stories, but where is the fact? Yes, you told us that it's a source of job opportunity. For instance, in China, there's no any other organization that or internet signal that works except the one from China, the one that inbuilt. So this means that the other organizations that have the signals, they cannot access their websites in China. This will leave people jobless. How is it creating jobs? On to our point. We talked about changing the education system as to improve this immorality in our country. And on to my own point, we talk about poverty. You are saying that by censoring the internet, the people will be able to reduce the immorality and insecurity. Well, for a fact, what causes a person to be immoral? For a fact, Judge Maina, take for instance, you have a son, your firstborn son. Then in the process you die. Then your son will be the one in charge to take care of the siblings. Your son, having no any means of getting help to take care of the sibling, your son will have to engage himself in criminal activities so as to sustain for the family. Why is the internet connected to this? Your son, because of lacking the job, because of lacking the opportunities to get the money from, your son will be able to join the malicious group, not because the internet forced him, but because the government has not created enough job opportunity for us as a citizen to access the jobs. So, before we stand here and accuse the internet of being the main cause of immorality and security, let's think about us as the Kenyan citizen, us as the government. What are we doing to promote the security and immorality rate in our country. Thank you.
Proposition, you have 1 minute for final submission.
Thank you for this opportunity again. First and foremost, I would like to state have faith in what the government is trying to do. Have faith, which means step out on nothing, believing you will land on something. What do I mean? I mean, we might not see the impact of internet censorship right now, but if it is implemented at this moment, we will see the impact 10 years to come. Well, persistence breaks down resistance. Many are opposing internet censorship. Well, in China, forced restrictions lead to self-restriction. The idea is that if you are never quite sure when, where, and how hard the boom will be lowered on you, man, you go and restrict yourself. You're going to restrict what you post on the internet. You know, you're talking about criminal rates. If the government is catching criminals who engage in criminal activity, but not the people who publish the information on the internet. Join me in the fight to support internet censorship.
Opposition, you have 1 minute for our final submission.
Well, to our proposers, the last proposer talked about faith. Well, faith without action is death. My audience, be convinced that for us to address insecurity and immorality in our country, we should not censor the internet. Because by censoring, you will only advocate for the irregularities being done offline. If your brother or your sister watches porn on a cell phone, if you take the cell phone, you have not addressed the case. He or she has other friends that she can go and access the same things from there. But if you give him the moral values and incorporate him on the importance of having good education values, we will address this. And we talked about, for us to address the immorality and insecurity, we should check on our education values and system. By encouraging that, it will also limit our researches, and we should encourage brotherness for us to address insecurity and immorality. With this, I'm out.
Dandora, hi. The first speaker, Bernice, very bold, a good speaker, defined the motion very well, spoke about China, gave us an example of Sauti Sol, which hit home for me. Then Jacqueline Modoni, when you came and talked about cybercrime, maybe some of us really don't understand what cybercrime is, so we would have defined it, give us a definite thing or an incident, an actual one that actually happened due to cybercrime. The last speaker, Lydia Wanjiku, you were not coherent. I could not follow your plane of thought. I didn't understand where we are going with you on the journey. So maybe next time you think before you speak, and also maybe do more research, practice.
Olympic School, I like the fact that you came up with embrace the values. I just wish you would have also drawn the contemporary society vis-a-vis the traditional society. And when we talk about morality and immorality here, security and insecurity, during the olden days and the current one, and how internet probably has contributed to the same, if at all there is any. Another thing that I would have wished you to come up with is the balance between the right to information and censorship. You are alluding to it, but it was not coming out clearly. One of you almost brought out the fact that censorship is equivalent to blocking the internet completely. It appeared that one of you was bringing out that. But all in all, I think you tried to treat the motion well. You came up with some good points. And as I've told you, what stood out is the values. Embrace the values. Let someone make a decision.
63% and 65%. The judges saw that Olympic High School won the debate. So let's give them a round of applause. And let's also give a round of applause to Dandora Girls High School for a job well done.
Félicitations to Olympic High School. This is it for us today. Keep the conversation going on our social media platforms. #GDC for SDGs. I have been your host, Esperantia Kapanga.
And I am Chris Boru.
The Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.